Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Om Shri Ramachandraya Namaha. Atulita Baladhamam Hemashailaabhadeham Danujavana Krishanum Jnaninam Agraganyam Sakalagunanidhanam Vanaranamadhisham Raghupati Priyabhaktam Vatajatan Namami. Raghupati Priyabhaktam Vatajatan Namami. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Dhyayami Chinmayanandam Gurudevam Mahamatim Premapurnam Kriyashilam Sada Lokahite Ratam Kripalum Sundarakaram Samartham Satyadarshinam Vacha Tattva Prakashinya Shokamoha Vinashinam. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Namah Shri Tulsi Dasa Sadvarishtaya Dhimate Puritam Hridayam Yena Rama Premamrite Name. Om Shri Tulsi Dasaya Namaha. Hari Om, a warm welcome. Mata Sita ji receives the information about her Lord having to leave for the forest. Perplexed, dejected, she runs towards her mother-in-law, offers her namaskarams and sits there at her feet. Her eyes are watering like river it waters. Probably those tears must have even wet the feet of Mata Kaushalya ji. And as we saw yesterday, the very nature of woman will be whenever there is extreme joy, happiness, or whenever there is extreme sorrow, the foot, the toe starts scratching, and that is exactly what Sita ji was doing. Mata Kaushalya, she opens her mouth after some silence and she says, please, hey Rama, tell me what should I do? Karike hari nisichara charahi dushta jantu bana bhuri. There will be wild elephants, kari, kehari, lions, nisichara charahi. Even demons will be wandering. Dushta jantu bana bhuri. There are so many poisonous, reptiles and animals and everything. Wicked creatures may be there. Visha batika ki sohasuta. Can this beautiful, tender girl, Subhaga Sajivani Muri, how can she live there? Come along with you. How can a beautiful, life-giving herb, fit in with all the poisonous plants, creepers, etc., etc.? Similarly, Sita will not befit coming to the forest. And then see how it proceeds. Tulsidas continues. Banahita kola kirata kisori rachi biranchi bishaya sukha bhori pahana krimi jimi kathina subhavu तिनहि कले सुन कानन कावु कैतापसतिय कानन जोगु जिन तप हेतु तजा सब भोगु सिय बन बसिहि तात केहि भांति चित्र लिखित कपि देखि डेराति सुरसर सुभग बनज बनचारी डाबर जोगु की हंस कुमारी अस बिचारी जस आय सुहोई मैं सिख देऊ जानकी सोई जाऊं सिय भवन रहें कह अम्बा मोहि कही होई बहुत अवलंबा सुनि रघुबीर मातु प्रिय बानी सील स्नेह सुधा जनुसानी कही प्रिय बचन विवेकमय कीन्ही मातु परितोष लगे प्रबोधन जानकी प्रगति विपिन गुण दोष बनहित कोल किरात किशोरी. One may ask, there are people living in the forest also. How does it matter? She can also go along and live. And then Ramchandraji is there along with her. So what? But then, see the way Mata Kaushalya ji says. He says, Banahita kola karata kisori. For residing in the forest, Bhagavan has created a particular race. The race is also mentioned. Kola kirata. These are the race names of certain tribal women who live only in the forest. They don't come to the city. They are the people who are well known in those times. Rachi biranchi bishaya sukha bhori. For them, this city life is all foreign. They are they actually don't know anything about city life and its pleasures. Pahana krimi jimi kathina subhavu. They are all adamant by nature and they live there only. Like for example, there are certain insects that stay on the stone. The stone might be very, very hot during summer or very cold during winter. They would not migrate to another place. They will remain there only, whatever it is. They are addicted to stay there. I would like to even add a little. Here, I have mentioned several times, in this remote place, we have a lot of peacocks. As I have noticed, these peacocks which are living here, they don't migrate to any other area, to any other field also. There are a lot of agricultural land all over, so many kilometers around. There are agricultural land, but they won't migrate. They are very happy living here. Probably if they migrate to another, let us say 10 kilometers from here, they would probably get a very good reap of food for them. But they are all here only. They are very happy, remote. Adamant by nature, Pahana Krimi Jimi Kathina Subhavu, it is very difficult, but then they all live there. Tinai Kalesuna Kanana Kaju Cow. They never try to experience of something very good, very, very posh, etc. etc. Now, in fact, we say, you go to all these zoos. We have one in Mysore Zoo, very, very famous. There they provide shelter. Of course, it is a cage, no doubt. But then there is a provision of a very good shelter. They will be given timely food. That particular food which they eat, they will be given. They will be taken care by veterinary doctors. So many people come and take selfies and photos and everything, and to create a lot of joy. So much they would be loved by people, yet they won't go. Why? That is their nature. And then he says, Kaitapasatiya kanana jogu jinatapa hetu taja sab bhogu. There is another class of women who stay in the forest. Who are they? They are the women who are there for penance, for the sake of sadhana, or they are there as the wives of Santa Purushas, who also undergo a lot of penance. That is another category, who have renounced all pleasures of life. Jini tapat hetu taja sab bhoga. They have renounced all bhoga for the sake of what? Tapa hetu, for the sake of penance. Now look at Sita ji. Siya bana basihi tata kehi bhati. My dear son, hey Rama, how can Sita live in that forest? She is not that strong and she is such a very delicate girl. Kehi bhati tata. How is it possible, my son? What is the nature of Sita ji? Look at that beautiful example she gives. She says, Kaushalya ji says, Chitra likhita kapi. A painted monkey. If there is a painting of a monkey in a picture, Chitra likhita kapi, dekhi dharati. Looking at a picture of a monkey, she gets afraid. That delicate is Sita ji. Surasara subhaga banaja banachari. Now she says, a female bird joyfully playing in the on the lotus, sitting on the lotus buds of the beautiful Manasarovara lake. Beautiful little birds, female birds. Dabara jogu ki hamsa kumari. Can those birds go and enjoy muddy, slushy water? They don't enjoy. For them, that beautiful circumstances of wonderful morning sun rays falling on the lotus which blooms as soon as the sun rays touch the petals, and in that wonderful serene atmosphere in the Manasarovar lake, that those birds cannot go to muddy, slushy water. Can they go? Asabichari jasa ayasu hoi. Please ponder on these words. Asabichari. Ponder on all these aspects. Jasa ayasu hoi. Having pondered on all these things, then you consider what is it that you have to order Sita ji. And whatever you order, it will happen accordingly. Maisika devun janaki hi soi. Whatever you instruct, that I will advise Janaki according to your understanding, according to your orders, I will instruct her. Jaunsiya bhavan rahe kaha amba. Jaunsiya bhavan rahe. In case Sita stays at home, mohi kaha hoi bahuta avalamba. This will mean a very great solace to me. There is some, see, in the Rajya, in the kingdom, in the palace, there will be hundreds of servants. But how can that be compared to the way a daughter-in-law takes care? Isn't it? The closest relative at that time there. Therefore, mohikaha hoi bahuta avalamba. I will feel very convinced. That's a great solace. Why? It's a very interesting point. This again earlier I have told. Ramchandraji knew that the moment he goes, within a short period of time, Dasharatha will no more survive. So Kaushalya has to stay alone. All the matas will be there in their own palaces, crying, being very unhappy about the whole incidents that have taken place. And what to talk of Mata Kaushalyaji? Who will take care of her? The servants will come, just do something and go. But that love and affection, that intimate relationship, only a daughter or a daughter-in-law, son or a son-in-law can give. Therefore, if she stays back, I will be very, very happy. It will be a great solace to me. Suni Raghubira Matu Priyabani. Now, all this she said. Matu Priyabani Suni. Ramchandraji listening to his mother's words. Suni Raghubira Matu Priyabani Sila Saneha Sudha Janusani. Having listened to Mataji's words, Ramchandraji, he could feel, he could experience in his own heart how much of love is there in Mataji's heart for Sitaji. Those words, those polite words, sweet words, it was drenched in the nectar of love, nectar of care. That he could feel the love and affection she had towards Sitaji. Kahi priya bachana bibekamaya kinhi matu paritosha. So listening to that loving and caring words of the mother, he comforted his mother. Maybe he would have gone near her, held her hands probably, or held her shoulder probably. Lage prabodhan janaki pragati bipina gunadosha. Then what did he do? He also cautioned Janaki. He also told Janaki with very, very, very beautiful soft words. He cautioned her, Pragati Bipina Gunadosha, all the advantages of being in the forest and the disadvantages of being there. In more so, you will see disadvantages only are there more. There is not much advantage. But how Sita ji looks at that situation, Ramchandraji looking at the situation, how Mother Kaushalya sees it, we will see in and through. Now we see Mata Kaushalya ji is so disturbed because she is worried about Sita ji. You will also find Mataji does not give much, I would not say does not give. She is not much worried, let us say, of Ramchandraji going to forest in terms of that, scary aspects of a forest. She did not speak about it, but she says all of them for Sita ji. Meaning what? Ramchandraji is valorous. Rama is extremely powerful. He is brave and bold. He can handle even if a Rakshasa come or a very wild animal comes, Ramchandraji has got the capacity to handle. Therefore, Mata Kaushalya ji is not much worried about Ramchandraji, whereas Sita ji is so tender, so delicate, so soft, so beautiful. She can't handle all those hardships. Think. Therefore, she is much worried. And now Ramchandraji starts telling Sita ji all the problems of being in the forest. Now let us see, continuing. मातु समीप कहत सकुचाही बोले समउ समुझि मन माही राजकुमारी सिखावनु सुनहु आन भाति जिय जनि कछु गुनहु आपन मोर नीक जौं चहहु बचनु हमार मानि गृह रहहु आय सुमोर सासु सेवकाई सब विधि भामिनी भवन भलाई एहि ते अधिक धर्मु नहीं दूजा सादर सासु ससुर पद पूजा जब तब मातु करी सुधि मोरी होई प्रेम बिकल मति भोरी तब तब तुम कहीं कथा पुरानी सुंदरी समुझाई मृदुबानी कहु सुभाय सपथ सत मोही सुमुखी मातु हित राखउ तोही गुर श्रुति संपत धर्म फलु पाई बिनहि कलेस हठ बस सब संकट सहे गालवन हुशन रेस मातु समीप कहत सकुचाही. The culture was so beautiful. The culture was so wonderful. There was respect. There is love. There is devotion. But there was respect to the elders when they are there in the front. Look at this. Matu Samipa Kahat Sakuchahi. Ramchandraji felt a little, he hesitated a little. He was feeling a little embarrassed to speak to the wife in front of the mother. Look at the culture. I don't have to mention much. We know what is happening in the world today. What to talk of the husband talking to the wife in front of the mother? The language that is being used today by all. Why? Even small children talk so loudly, so arrogantly in front of the parents, in front of the grandparents, even in front of the guru, in front of the teacher. And more so, what to talk? In behind them also people speak. Think. There was such a culture. When the elders were there in the front, I remember my grandfather, I was too small a boy. When my grandfather was there at home, the daughter-in-laws or even the son-in-law, they would never lift their head up to see and speak to him. They will not see him straight. They would put their head down. I have seen it myself. Not only in my house, I have seen it in many other houses also, where elderly people are there. The younger generation would not look at that elderly person arrogantly. That was the culture, past tense. Today, there is no respect at all. When there is no respect, there will not be any, value for whatever they speak, whatever they guide. The elderly people have grown and they have got experience of every kind in every aspect of life. They have got the right experience. They may not have been studying, they may not have studied big classes or degrees. They may not have any degrees. They may not have gone to the school also. But out of experience, they would give the right guidance. Just because the son has studied more than the father, just because the daughter-in-law is a degree holder and she has got a big post in some very high funda companies, the way they treat the elders is despicable, shameful. Vidya dadati vinayam. Education must give humility. If that humility is not there, what is the use of any education? What is the use of having such a high post? The attitude, the arrogance must be condemned. However the elders may be, whatever the elders may say, doesn't matter. And in front of them, to remain calm, to be humble is a great virtue. Very many times, elders, whatever they speak, may not be applicable in today's life, in our circumstances, doesn't matter. To be humble is the dharma of younger generation. To be humble is the dharma of the students. To be humble is the dharma of the shishyas. This is our culture. That is why even today the entire world looks up to Bharatiya culture because of what? This humility. Be it children towards parents, parents towards their elders, student towards the teacher, a shishya towards the guru. The humility and unconditional acceptance is dharma. Think. Matu samīpa kahat sakuchai. He felt so, uncomfortable. He hesitated to speak to Sita ji in front of his mother. Dharmo vigrahavan Ramaha. Maryada Purushottam Ram. Why is he called in that way? Because of all such wonderful behaviors. Accept. Obey. Good, bad, indifferent can be seen later. At that moment, accept, obey. Think. Bole samau samujhi manamahi. At the same time, Ramchandraji understood that particular condition, that situation, that emergency to speak to Sita ji. Therefore, with humility in front of his mother, he speaks to Sita ji. Rajakumari sikhavanu sunahu. Hey Rajakumari, O princess, sunahu, please listen. Sikhavanu, listen to whatever I advise now. Please note, at any given period of time, all through Ramayana you find Rama never orders. Ramchandraji never orders Sita or his children also later. He only advises. To accept or reject is their part. Sunahu, please listen to my advice, O princess. Anabhati jaya janika chugan gunahu. Now, while I am advising you, hey Sita, please don't misunderstand me. You will find this, I'm sure we will be able to relate in our day-to-day life. When a good advice is given, Gurudev very beautifully says, faults become thick when love is thin. I'll repeat, faults become thick when love is thin. When you don't have that inner love, unconditional love, uncontaminated love towards anybody, what you see in that person are only faults. Think. When you love that person, even if that person is provoking, even if that person is doing something wrong, even if that person is acting against you, still you will accept the person. Why? Because of that pure love which you have towards that person. That love will bring respect. But when you don't respect whoever he or she may be, your own guru may be, you will consider it, something wrong, something low, etc., etc. Comes out of what? Out of not having respect to the guru, not having respect to the parents, not having respect to the elders. Our Bharatiya Samskriti constantly, continuously, consistently says, obey, bow down, accept unconditionally. However, here when Ramchandraji, when he is advising Sitaji, he says, don't misunderstand me, look at it in my angle of vision. Each one of us think of our own, according to our own angle of vision. We are not ready to accept the other person's advice from their standpoint. We always say, you don't know anything. You will never understand me. How many times in houses they say, he never understands me. She never understands me. Why? Because you have not seen from the other person's viewpoint. There is another saying, only the wearer of the shoe knows where it pinches. Isn't it? Only when you go to the other standpoint and look at the condition, you will understand what are the flaws, what are the problems, what are the advantages. We are always negative. Take advantages also. The beauty, the glory. When somebody is speaking about it, you may not understand. But when you go to that person's, stand on the other person's shoe, you will understand how glorious is something or how despicable is something. Therefore, Ramchandraji wants Sitaji to look at it from his standpoint. And then he says, don't misunderstand me. आपन मोर नीक जौ चाहूं, बचनु हमार मानि गृह रहूं. In case, more नीक जौ चाहूं, if in case you wish well for me and for yourself, Sita, remember this. In case you want me to be comfortable, these words are all very important. Many times certain words are told which hits the ego. Problem is with the ego. When some good things are told, but which may not be, in tune with my thinking, then immediately I will brush aside because my ego is hurt. Most often, not even more often, most often, actually most all the time only, but giving a benefit of doubt, most of the time we look at people, we look at situation, we look at condition from our own egoistic standpoint. If my ego is hurt, then I don't accept the other person. My ego, my arrogance, my position, my image, this is primary in our modern life. But in Rama's time, it was not like that. However, even though Ramchandraji knew that Sita ji will not misunderstand him, still he puts a word of caution. Please don't misunderstand me. Apana more anika jau chahu. If you want something good to happen to me, well wishing for me, if you are a well wisher, and if you also see, you will understand it is good for you only. Bachanu hamara mani griharahu. Listening to those advices, please accept the suggestion and stay at home. Now, please note, very important point here. Sita ji has come there. Sita ji has not opened her mouth at all. She is quietly listening to what mothers say, to what her Lord Bhagavan Shri Ramchandra ji says. She is quietly listening. She has never expressed, I am going to come along with you. She has never expressed. She is not that restless, impatient. She is still quiet. But then he says, Bhajanu hamara mani griharahu. Please stay at home listening to my words. Ayasu mora sasu sevakai. By obeying my orders, what will you do? You will be rendering service to your mother-in-law. And of course, here only Sasu is written, but then father-in-law is also included. Right? You will serve them remaining at home. Sababidi bhamini bhavana bhalai. A good lady, my dear Sita, you only will be benefited in every way by staying at home. Look at the advice. Ehite adhika dharamu nahi duja. For a woman, there is no other duty more sacred than sadara sasu sasura padapuja. At all given time, serving, adoring the feet of the parents of her husband. Sadara sasu sasura padapuja. There is nothing great beyond that. Jaba jaba matu karihi sudhi mori. Look at that line, very interesting. Whenever my mother thinks of me, and at that particular time, she will be so desperate. She will feel so low. She will succumb to her own sorrows. Hoihi prema bikalamati bhori. Her mind will be so desperate. Because of what? My love. Because of her love towards me, my love towards her, she will feel so like a despondent. You know what you should do? When she thus loses the balance of mind, when she becomes desperate and down, low, taba taba tuma kahi katha purani. At that time, you should speak to her. Katha Purani, all the legendary stories of the past cultures, you have to speak to her and raise her tempo, boost her morale, make her feel happy, make her feel convinced. This is what you have to do by narrating all the old stories. Sundari samujhayihi mridubani. Hey Sundari, hey, my beautiful wife, Sita, please listen carefully. Understand. Ramchandraji says, Samujayehu. You understand and you also make her understand every time when it is required. Mridubani, with soft, with polite words, Ramchandra said, Kahau subhaya sapata satamohi. For my mother's sake, I swear, not for anything else, for the sake of my mother, I want you to stay here. For no other reason. It is not to escape from you or etc. I want you to stay with her only for my mother's sake. Please listen to me. Samuji matu hita rakhavutohi. Because of mother's well-being, you please stay here. I am leaving you here. Gurashruti sammata dharma phalu paiya binahi kalesu. By staying at home, the virtues that is approved by the teachings of the Vedas and elders, Santa Purushas, paiya binahi kalesa, you will easily attain the reward of joy, peace, respect, glory, everything. Hatabasa sab sankata sahi. But whereas if you are adamant, if you stay adamant to come with me, Galavana Hushanaresa, you will find in such a difficult condition as Galava and Nahusha Naresa. Naresa king, Nahusha is king Naresha. Galava is one who is I will tell you, briefly I will tell you the two stories. Galava was another Shishya of sage Vishwamitra. He was a very ardent devotee, ardent disciple of sage Vishwamitra. While being under the tutelage of Santa, he obeyed so much, everything, unquestioningly he obeyed his Guru's words. And then he lived a very beautiful life as a Shishya and he gained the knowledge equally beautifully. Now, the time had come when the Shishya says, "Hey Shishya, I have taught you what I know. Now I relieve you. Now you go. Whichever path you want to take, you go. My teaching is over." This Galava said, "Hey Guru," maybe he must have said, "Dhanyavadaha, thank you so much. But what is a Guru Dakshina that I have to give?" Guru Dakshina is a very, very important factor. Any field of activity, Guru Dakshina is extremely important. There will be another occasion where we will talk about it. Now the Shishya says, "I want to give you Guru Dakshina, therefore please ask what you want." Guru said, Vishwamitraji said, "Nothing is required. I am fine. I don't require anything from you. You live that knowledge, what you have learned, and you go and find your way. You also find a way even to teach it to others." Probably he might have told, "But the main point is, I don't want anything. I am happy here. You carry on." The Shishya was very, very adamant. "Acharyaya priyam dhanamahritya prajatantum ma vyavachetsi." Upanishad Vakya, Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said. "Acharyaya priyam, you tell me, I want to give you something." He was very extremely adamant. How much ever Vishwamitraji told, "It's okay, I am fine, I don't require anything," he would not listen. "You tell me." This fellow, this Galava was very adamant. So this obstinate student is there, and then he devised a plan. Vishwamitraji. He said, "Okay, you want to give Guru Dakshina, whatever I want, will you give?" "Yes, I will give. Please ask." He said, "Go and find snow white horses with dark ears. And not only one or two, you must give me 1,000 horses you bring with full white body and then dark ears. That kind of horses I want 1,000. Go, bring." "Yes, Gurudev." And he started. He went probably months or even years he must have gone and tried to collect here and there. 1, 2, 4, 10 like that. He tried to find, he could get only about 600, and in the process one person said, "You take my daughter also," and he sent his daughter also along with Galava. She also started searching. Finally they could find about 600 and odd. Now he was tired. He said, now let us go back to the Guru. And he brought all those 600 and odd horses. He brought the Guru, and he said, Guru, I could not get 1,000. I could get only 600 and odd. Therefore, now you please accept all these horses. You accept the girl also. Take her also. Hari Om. And then he left. But the point here to be noted is the amount of pain that he had to undergo in collecting 1,000 horses. I mean, even 600 horses as what he had actually collected. He had to undergo so much of pain and suffering. Guru had told him, I don't want anything. Live a beautiful life. Go. But then the arrogance many times when you show against the Guru also, it only shows the lacunae in understanding the knowledge properly. Nothing else. It shows the arrogance. Therefore, this is one Galava. And now comes the second Nama which he had taken. Raja Nahusha. Nripa. He was a very pious and very illustrious ruler. Nahusha. When Indra, the lord of the celestial world, when Indra killed a demon called Vitara, this demon was actually a Brahmana. By birth he was a Brahmana. Later, then that's another story. We will not go into that. He was a Brahmana who was probably because of a curse he became a demon. And when he was killed because of some sin, now killing a Brahmana means terrible sin it is. Brahmana Hatya. Now Indra became he felt very ashamed for killing a Brahmana, and he went away, in exile. To hide himself, he went away, Indra. Now the celestial beings, they require one ruler. So what did they do? They brought this Nahusha, who was a very pious, very illustrious, very good ruler. They brought him and put him in the seat of Indra. Indra, absconding. He had a very beautiful wife. This Nahusha, he fell in love with that wife. Though she was not like that. She did not have such intentions. Nahusha, because of his, karma towards Indra's wife, he started making lot of advances, etc. along with her. And it is said, Indra was there in Manasarovar lake. He hid himself under the Manasarovar lake. But finding themselves without a king, when they made Nahusha the king, now look at Nahusha. All that, everything, whatever good thoughts had, got covered by Kama. No, she was also very desperate. She wanted to avoid this King Nahusha. So she thought, I must devise some plan so that he is put away. So she said, I want Sapta Rishis to lift the palanquin in which I sit. Then we will see. So he ordered Sapta Rishis to come. They sat on the palanquin and they became tired lifting her. And then her and Nahusha also was there in the palanquin. And he became so angry. He kicked one of the Sapta Rishis, happens to be Agastya Rishi, by saying, Sarpa, Sarpa. Sarpa means move fast, move fast. The rishis got so wild. He said, you become a Sarpa. And Nahusha turned into a python and suffered so much of pain in his life because of Hata. Think Therefore, Ramchandra says, don't be adamant, you will also suffer. And then he also gives a lot of advice. What are those advices? We will see tomorrow. सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।